Hello everyone, I hope you can hear me well. So my name is Tanya and I'm a psychologist and a language tutor. I've been teaching English for many years and I've been facing so many issues, troubles with the groups when people faced the difficulties while studying. And these were not the difficulties concerning language problems. They were problems dealing with the psychology of education. You know, when you enter the group, you enter the society of special people who you are supposed to deal with. And how you feel in this society depends on how you usually feel or you used to feel when you were a child. And some aspects of your upbringing, they influenced your behavior in social groups dramatically, I should say. And know that's very essential to overcome these psychological barriers. They are not just language barriers, but they are also psychological barriers which hinder you from being successful in studying at school, at courses, at any institution that provides the possibility to study. Have you ever experienced the situation when you started something, when you started studying something, but meanwhile, at the same time, you were very anxious, you were very frightened, you didn't feel comfortable during the process of studying, and it's not just because of the teacher. Maybe the teacher was good, maybe he was not so supportive as you wished, but the feelings that you had in this group, they were overwhelming, and time after time you were trying to overcome these feelings of anxiety, anguish, or even fear. But from time to time you just had no power to overcome these feelings, and you stopped studying, you quitted. You just quit. You quit the courses that you have just started studying. Sorry. Have you ever experienced such a situation? When we are in the process of studying, there are a lot of factors that really impact your result. And one of the sides that influence you the most are 12 prohibitions, which were imposed onto your personality when you were a child. You are facing these prohibitions and you are experiencing these prohibitions even though you don't feel that. That happens subconsciously. You don't realize that it's happening to you, but they do exist and they do influence your process of studying. And that is why we're going to talk about them, and maybe you might recognize yourself in the descriptions that I'm going to give you. And if it's so, if you really see yourself in these descriptions, so don't worry, that means that you have base to work with, and that's great. I will be happy to see you on my personal sessions, psychological sessions, which we will run with you and we will have with you in order to help you overcome all these feelings of anxiety, anguish, and fear, and maybe shame or even guilt if you're facing these feelings while you're studying. The 12 prohibitions that I'm going to talk about are these ones. You can see them already on your screen. So first prohibition, which might have been imposed onto you as a child, is don't be yourself. Sometimes as children we wanted to laugh, we wanted to scream, we wanted to run, we wanted to express ourselves. And if someone who was really meaningful to you in your childhood, if these people told you okay, you want to sing in front of public, and the people who you really rely on and whose opinion about you was really special to you, So they say, don't sing, no, don't sing, don't do that. Or you wanted to recite a poem and they say, no, don't do that, because they might have felt like ashamed because of what you were doing. Or they said, be quiet, don't do that, do that. It meant like subconsciously, it meant like, don't do what you are up to, or don't do what you really feel like doing, or don't do what you really, really want to do right now. So that's why your impulses were just brought back into you, and they didn't have the exit. You wanted to do something, your desire was to do something, but it was not supported by meaningful adults. That is why you had to bring it back, and you didn't want to have these impulses back. You didn't want these impulses to be out of yourself. You didn't let them out of yourself. That means that you were supposed to be who they wished you to be, not who you were supposed to be. How does it reflect your behavior during the lesson? For example, during the lesson, you really, really want to drink, or you really, really want to sing, or you really, really want to talk to someone, and your desire can be unsupported. You want to stand up and just walk during the lesson because you just need it, or you just need to drink a cup of tea, but you're not allowed to until the teacher finishes his speech. But you really, really want to do something that the teacher says, no, it's not the right time, it's not the high time for that. And in such a way, you recognize this feeling when you had to pull yourself together and don't do what you really want to do. In such a way, you can face feelings of disappointment, and that drags the strength out of you. You don't feel motivation during such a lesson when you face the disappointment. Yeah. The next, and of course, the next time you come to the lesson, and if you are not behaving as you wish to behave, if there is nothing bad in your behavior, I mean, it means that you will feel ashamed because the teacher or the group expects you to be someone who you are not. And you feel tensed. You feel tensed in these conditions. You cannot relax. You cannot just enjoy the process of studying if you're asked not to be yourself. If you feel this really, really like unnoticeable words or impulses that the teacher or the group gives to you. Yeah. The next, don't be a child. Our childish behavior is something that is really, really needed during the educational process, because children are curious. Children are curious. They want to know something. They want to ask something. They want to behave in an unpredictable manner. And that's what the teachers don't always like, if you come to a lesson where your childish behavior or your childish part is not supported, you feel that somehow on subconscious level the teacher broadcasts the expression, don't be a child. And maybe as a child you also faced this broadcasting, like very subconsciously. For example, your parents or your teachers, like they used to say that, don't be like this, don't do these stupid things, don't laugh so loudly, don't run, don't do this and this and this. And they said, like, you must be an adult, you must be a grown up already, You must study. You must do only necessary things. You have no time to play. You must be an adult. And you're so sick and tired of being an adult that when you come to a lesson and you are supposed to be an adult, that makes you feel bored because your childish part is asleep. It's not allowed to bring out its curiosity into the process of education. The next, um, number 3, don't be an adult. Don't grow up. Stay small. Some parents used to say, like, oh, you're so cute, you're so cute, you're so beautiful. Oh, don't grow up because when you grow up, you will not be so sweet anymore. And I love you so much, you're so sweet. And children, they hear these words and they are afraid of being grown ups. They are afraid of being an adult because when they grow up, nobody will love them. That's why during the lesson they um, they behave as if they weren't adults. They behave really, really childish, but in a negative manner, like being rude or being um, unsupportive to other people, doing just what they want without respect towards the other people, and so on and so forth. And when you feel that your teacher gives you a message, sends you a message, like subconscious message, don't be an adult, it means that you can be sweet, and only if you're sweet during the lesson, only if you're sweet, if you're good, if you do your homework, if you're really polite, only if you do what the teacher says, then you will be loved. But in this way, you can be really, really tensed because you cannot be ideal all the time. And you might face the feelings of stress if you are not sure about the answers, if you are not sure about the mistakes that you're making. So you are afraid of making mistakes, and that makes you feel stressed during the lesson. In such a way, under such a stress, you will not be able to have your lessons for a long time. In some time, you're going to quit, unfortunately, because you're not enjoying the process. You are not accepting yourself as you are during the lesson. Not only you, but maybe the group or maybe the teacher, I don't know. The next, number 5, don't be too close. Don't be too close means like, you know, there. The message that was sent upon you in your childhood, it was like, people are dangerous. Don't get too close to people. Don't make friends. Don't trust anyone. Don't waste your time making friends or being too close to people because they will hurt you. And if you come to the group and you have this message in your head, which says like people are dangerous, you will feel tensed because there are a lot of people around you studying next to you, side by side. And most of them will be very, very friendly, and they will try making friends. They will try getting close to you, and you will be afraid of this process. And that will hinder you from making friends. Making friends during the studying process is really, really supportive. That what helps you not to quit when you want to quit. If you have friendship, if your relationships are close with the people around you during the study, that will bring the atmosphere of real trust, of real support, and it will be easier for you to overcome the hindrances and the fears, to overcome your problems which you're facing during the lessons. Okay? So, and if you have this message in your head, like don't be too close, it will be easier for you to quit because there will be no close people who will be able to support you when you're really, really needed. Okay, number 6. Number 6 is like message don't think. It's usually sent, this message is usually sent by the mothers who are really, really um, who are into the process of taking care of you, and they are so into you that they say like, okay, don't think, I will think instead of you. You should do this and this and this. Put on these clothes, eat this food, go there and there and there, make friends with this person, make friends with this person. Don't think, don't choose, don't do anything. I will think instead of you. And if you had this message which was imposed onto you, mostly it, it it can be difficult during the studying process because you're not able to choose and to think what is really, really necessary for you in this studying process. Um, some people will say, go to this teacher, or go to this club, or go to study this language. And this desire of studying was not exactly yours. This desire was imposed by some other people, and you might not feel that what you're doing is not what you want, what you really want. I remember the case when my student, she was studying really hard and she was doing really great. She was studying English, but once, as soon as she started studying psychology, she said, "Oh, I realized that my favorite language and my desirable language to study was Italian, not English." You see, when she started thinking about what she really likes, what she really wants, and what she's doing right now, these two things, they didn't correspond, they didn't coincide. English and Italian are completely two languages. That's why we should be very, very careful with our choice, and we should think if it's our choice to study this language or it's someone's goal, aim, desire. uh, hmm? Ask yourself this question. The next, number 7, is something like this, like don't feel. Don't feel, it's like, for example, feeling is stressful. Feeling is dangerous. If the person used to have a lot of problems in his family as a child, for example, father was really abusive, and he could have been like a drunkard, or mother was really abusive, um, for the child, the best reaction in such families was, in order to save his psyche, was not to feel anything, because feeling was dangerous. Because there were so many, many negative feelings at those times that it was hard to face and to contain them all. That is why as a child the person made up his mind not to feel anything. And during the lesson, um, the person can feel different feelings. For example, irritation, anger at a teacher, at students, um, I don't know, joy. Even joy was dangerous to feel. So joy. But his reaction to these feelings is not to let them out, but to drag them in. And in such a way, the whole lesson, you're not thinking about the process, or you're not thinking about the information which is given to you by the teacher. You're trying to pull yourself together and to handle your feelings, to deal with your feelings, not to let them out. In such a way, you're extremely tensed because you're working with your feelings and you're trying not to feel anything. You're trying to hide from your anger, you're trying to hide from your anxiety, you're trying to hide from your irritation, and instead of expressing them in an ecological manner, like saying something not rude, polite, but saying about your feelings, instead of doing that, you're struggling with them. You're trying to make them disappear, and unfortunately, that doesn't work out well, because at a specific moment, You will feel a lack of attention. You will feel a lack of interest in the subject you are studying. The next prohibition: do not make progress. As a child, a lot of parents, for example, used to look at the child, and sometimes some parents, they as their inner feeling, like subconsciously, they it was, I think, unconscious level. They could see that you as a child were very, very successful. You tried to do something, but they immediately devaluated it. They saw your progress, and they couldn't have joy because of your progress. They felt ashamed that they were not as clever as you were. And that's why they tried to broadcast the message: do not make any progress. Like, don't be successful. Because when you're successful, they try to devaluate your strength. Uh, they devalued you felt unvalued. You didn't see you didn't seeing the progress, seeing your success was extremely, extremely dangerous, because in such a way your parents became sad, maybe sad, because they were not as successful as you were as a child. You didn't want to make them feel sad. That's why you had this uh, decision to not make any progress. And in such a way, you don't know why, but as soon as you see that, wow, I can handle it, it's easy to study, I can do that, your reaction from the childhood: don't make any progress, because otherwise it will make the other pupils sad. For example, you understood the rule, and you know that, wow, it's great, I know I can do this exercise, but you see that the other students cannot handle it. You feel ashamed that you are better than them. And in such a way, you again, you try to not to express your feelings of success, your feelings of joy because of your success, but you feel shame because they feel bad when you are better than them. And that makes your progress go down. That makes you stop studying sometimes. And it's almost exactly as: don't be the first, don't stick out, don't win, because in this case, you will make a lot of people upset that they are not as good as you are. And in such a way, even if you're good at something, even if you can do better than the others, you prefer not to stick out. You prefer not to show your talent. You prefer to hide this talent from the others. And that's where your energy goes. Not into studying, but that's where your energy goes, and you don't feel comfortable during such lessons. And also, number 10 is: do not belong. It's very close to don't be too close. Don't feel good, because if you feel good, that can make somebody feel bad. If you receive a great mark during the lesson, if your teacher praises you, you can feel shame, not joy, because when some people compare themselves to you, they feel bad, and you don't want to make people feel bad. You want to make people feel good. That's why you prefer not to win, not to stick out, not to be the first. And one more very, very essential prohibition is 12: don't leave. Don't leave. It's like, you know um, message that was broadcast in you when you were a child. It was like, um, we don't need you here. It's like, um, you don't belong here. It used to be better without you. And if your parents or someone very, very meaningful to you, they unconsciously um, broadcast this message to you: don't leave, don't be here, it's better without you. You don't feel needed in the group you're studying at. You don't feel needed at the group, at the course you're studying at. You don't feel comfortable during the lesson because you think that people could do better without you, and it would be better for the group without you. And that's the hardest thing, when you feel support, but your inner reaction to the support is, no, you don't need me. You don't need me. You can do better without me. And that was really hard for you in the childhood, and it's still hard during the studying process. And all of these statements, or some of these statements, if they are in your head, remember, they are false. It's not about you. It's not about you. It's about maybe you in the childhood, because you used to listen to your parents and you were good at this, but now you're an adult and you can change and substitute these statements into some better ones. And that's what we're going to do during our next lesson. You can subscribe to our Telegram channel, and you can have also individual sessions with me, and I will be really eager to help you overcome these statements in your head, because they are all false. It's not about you anymore. You can really, really feel joy, feel happiness, and you can really enjoy the process of education, and you can really enjoy being in the group. And I will be really happy to support you in this process of growing and overcoming these false beliefs that could be still in your head. See you during our next session here on YouTube channel. Subscribe, and if you want private session, so I will be eager and ready to help you. Thank you very much. Have a wonderful day. I hope it was useful for you. If you have questions, guys, write down in the comments. I will be very happy.